Right back here with a look at Myro. I apologize. I've been a little absent. I've had some issues to take care of with family, and it's been taking up a lot of my time. So I very much apologize. Get be back in the swing of things now. Just some unfortunate events there. So enough of that. Let's get on this. It took a long. I have an alert going up here on this right now. Actually. Monad. Yeah, we took a long on this thing. If you zoom in on it, we ended up nailing it perfectly, which was pretty nice. Monad. Let's see here. It went on a 1 hour. Our take profit was at 4.847, right there, right up here. Wow, beautiful. Just in case you don't believe me, let's show you real quick. Show you the Discord real fast here. Right here, TP hit. Congrats. Mon, yeah, Monad. That's what it's called. 0.04808. That was the TP, and look at that. Hit it perfectly, and it's rolled over. Looks like a bigger move though with this thing. It looks like this was just a small five wave inside. If you look at the bigger picture of this thing, because I know Diamond Hands is watching it, we just played this small five move right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Went on a 15 minute. Was a quick move. Ended up being wow, wow, look at that, absolutely perfect TP. That was awesome. 4808 popped up on here now. We had this wedge forming here and a five wave pattern to the upside, and it looks like on the bigger picture this was just a fifth wave inside here. If you're familiar with Elliott waves, you know what I'm talking about here. All right, you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, inside your wave three. This is wave three right here. This will be pulled down here now, and you'll get a fourth wave pullback here. Who knows where it'll go? Somewhere down here, and then looking for a fifth wave up. Okay, but anyway, we hit our TP. If you want to come join us over in Discord, that's a level 3 membership in the description of the video. You also get 10 hours of videos to watch, over 20 videos to teach how to learn Elliott waves, start chart, and all that stuff. So we have 106, 150 some members. So check it out if you want. We'd love to have you over there. All right, now as far as Myro goes, let's take a look at this chart. We have Bitcoin. Bitcoin has probably topped. Right, we're looking for a retracement in that thing. Hopefully, it does an ABC and has a bounce back up to about 108 to 112,000, and then probably get rejected at the trend line it broke and probably roll over. Right, I'll show you real quick here. Blockchain bets. Man, oh man, I just put that in Discord. That's crazy. If that thing runs back up just next year, 10 years from now, back up to a 618, that's a 70x. Pretty crazy, right? I put that over there. We put stuff like that in Discord. Everybody does over there. Got some really good traders in our Discord. Right here is Bitcoin. It broke this major trend line that it's been holding for quite a while, right? Had this first hit right here, August of 2024. There's a hit, roughly March or April 2025, and now it's broke through it. Okay, hopefully this thing runs back up, does a B wave back up, and then a C wave down, probably towards about 60,000. That would be your top over here. I don't expect it to break that by much. Just like 2017, okay? You had a retracement back down. Where's our price action at here? Let's just go into this different chart. Didn't really want that one anyway. Right. We, you came back down here. I apologize. Right back here, you ended up retesting the 2017, 2013 high. All right back here, and then it's headed up. All right, so looking forward to probably come back down here and retest this one here. This We are on. What the heck is that on? I don't know, but that says 1400. Here we go. Retest 61, 60,000, somewhere right around there. Here you go. Something like this. And then probably ride the bear market right around there. You had to come down to there. There's your high and back here. And then your 21 high. The closing candles were down here on 61. So maybe it pulls back down here and rides that for our next bear market here, and then heads up. Hard to say, right? But back here it did hold this one. Looking forward to possibly hold this area. Now, obviously looking for dominance, rollover. Need these altcoins to run, right? How do you get the target for a wedge? You take the width of the inside of the target, or the inside of the wedge, and that gives you a price target, right? Anybody out there that trades wedges, you know that. And they play out almost every single time, right? So here's your width of the wedge, and this is being, kind, right inside here. Put it on the dominance area, it would show breakdown down in the low 30s, right? Is that going to happen? I don't know. You got the monthly RSI right down, reset, oversold, but down here it's still pretty high down on the regular RSI. On the weekly coming straight down. That's beautiful. That's what we want, right? You can see a 5-wave move start, and this finishing up probably here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5th wave down, which should take it. It's going to take out this 57 and come down here, right? Target. Could get some nice runs here in the next next couple weeks. It should take it down to 54 and a half. If it uses that one up here, then you're looking at 53. All right, but looking for it to come down here over the next week or so. Could end up having the altcoins running maybe pretty decent through here. Now Myro, if we come over here and take a look at it, I talked about this last time. We want a daily. Binance, of course, delisted it. Looks like it didn't hurt it a whole lot, right? Not a whole lot. I mean, here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about a week's worth of price action here. 21st, 20th. Binance, I don't know, somewhere through here dropped it, right? Ended up taking it out. Now we have a couple of trend lines here. This one up through here. It's this, it comes down here, touches here, and touches down here. Then you had Myro break out of this. But it didn't do a whole lot, did it? Kind of a dud through here. Now, would be looking normally, you have a wave pattern down through here. Where could Myro bottom out? Well, if it ends up taking out this low here at 0.0097, you could be looking at it coming down in this area down here, 0.006, 0.007, right in that area, right? Would that mark bottom? Yeah, it could, right? It could. And would be looking for some kind of bounce out of this thing. I would expect Myro to do some kind of retracement, right? Not just straight down, although it could go straight down. There's no guarantees with any of this, right? That's the hard part right now. Do you sell? Do you wait? Do you look for a bounce to get out, right? That's what people are trying to do right now, get out of the markets. And Myro has consistently, unfortunately, just going down, and down. And we've been looking for some kind of bounce here out of this thing, right? Now, if we go out here on a weekly chart, take a look at this thing, right? Put a pivot on this. pull it down here, you know, you would be thinking that you would get some kind of decent retrace out of this before it, you know, before it absolutely, before we go into this heavy bear market, you know. I think we probably have started the bear market. But we're looking for some kind of alt season. Now, if we go back, say, let's go off something like Chainlink. All right, Chainlink's pretty old, right? We're out on a weekly chart. Let's see here, right? Had its this was what 2020. Had its right here was its alt season. It had the big fall, and there's its retracement right here. Okay, probably back up to a 618. All right, that's where people were looking to get out. Right there. Yep, 618. Right on the dot. 618 retracement, and right off into the bear market. Okay. November of 2021, right there, November of 2021. What was Bitcoin doing when this hit that 618 retracement? Let's see, November, October, November of 2021. Where was Bitcoin at that time? November 2021. That's when Chainlink did its retracement. All right, Bitcoin, October, November, and this here, in all actuality, right? If you look at everything, the RSI, everything, technically, right here was your top for Bitcoin, right? In April of 2021, you know, everybody talks about that. Everybody pretty much knows that, right? That was your top. It ended up putting a higher high over here. But in all reality, here was your top, and this is a monthly chart here. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. November of 2021, Bitcoin was right here on this top here. Okay, which in all reality should have been like a retracement. All right, if you look at here was your high on the RSI. All right. Big time bearish divergence. That was your top right here, right? You go out there and talk to any kind of analyst out there or whatever, and they'll tell you the same thing. I mean, even though it printed a little bit higher of a price over here, this was technically your top, all right? So this would have been your retracement over here after Bitcoin topped. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7 months after Bitcoin topped, you know, Chainlink had its retracement back up. You know, there's November of 2021 right there. All right, so this would have been like Bitcoin's A, B, C move, you know, into the bear market here. It's technically what that probably should have been. And then you have Bitcoin up here, right? Made this first push down. Let's get this off here. You know, we're looking for a run back up here, all right, to retest this now as resistance. I believe it's topped. You know, if we go from the top here, you know, be looking for this thing. You know, if it stops right here, all right, you know, something measured out a little bit more better. All right, and it was a little bit more of a pull down to like not much. What did this come down to? About 80. All right. What I'm looking for is this, obviously this run down, a bounce back up to the 618 to retest this now as resistance, and then roll over for the bear market. Okay. Now if we go off of this here, I'm just very curious because this lined up like almost perfect last time, right? Right from here, right? Say it gets rejected right there. Does an A, B, C, pulls it down to 62. Just about right on top there, right? Just about right on top. Okay, right in that area. Pretty crazy, right? okay, which would bring it back to 2021's top, just like back here in over here in 2017 when it came down. You know, a little bit up higher. Sorry about that. Right there. You know, there's 2017. Just came back and retested the prior high. You know, just like this should here, this ABC would put it right in that area. Now, if this price action did push down a little bit more and this played out perfectly, that would be crazy, right? I mean, if that price pushed down just a little bit more, like somewhere, you know, right around 77, 78, you know, then you take your ABC, measure that out. That would be your target. Where would that put you? Boom. Just almost right on top, right? So if it pushed down a little bit more, but right where we're at, you know, if it runs back up to a B, 108 to 112, and then rolls over, we'll see. You got your monthly RSI, bearish going down. We've talked about the bearish divergence numerous times on this thing. You can see it here. Got this high, lower high, lower high, price, higher highs the whole way. The weekly is right at the bottom and reset, ready to turn bullish. Okay, so you got a weekly green candle started. Does it run back up here to 108 or 112? That would get the people back in, wouldn't it? That would get people excited again, get them throwing their money back in the market and thinking that this thing, you know, is starting to make another run. I mean, from 80,000 back up to 108 or 110, that's a $30,000 move. It's a pretty big move, right? That would be, this runs back up to a 618. Yeah, that's a 34, almost a 35% move in Bitcoin. That would get people pretty pumped, right? And that would get the altcoins. You would think that would get the altcoins moving, right? So let's get back over here to Myro. I got a couple things you definitely want to keep an eye on, okay, as far as price action with this thing. Let's get in here. If it ends up, you know, pulling down and doing this this wave down, let's get this off here. Let's go out dailies a little bit easier to maneuver here. Right, like I said, I'm about a weekly. I apologize. There you can see it a little bit more, right? You should have a wave down here. I mean, this took out this low right here. Okay, so technically you should have a push down here. Now, like I said, that measurement, if you go up here, you know, that puts you at 0.009, 0.007, 0.006, right in that range. You know, it's a pretty steep fall, but will that mark a bottom? That's the question, right? That's what we all want to know. Are we going to get a push up from there? You know, is the thing. If you take a look here, what do we have here? I wonder what was this a 382 in here? Is what I'm trying to see. If we go up here, yeah, it was. You know, you have 1, 2. Kind of messy in here, isn't it? If you have a 1, 2, 3, this fourth wave would have violated this, and then a push down here. Where's the RSI at? You got the weekly right at the bottom. Almost reset on the weekly. The weekly's almost ready to turn up. Okay. Now you got your daily heading to the upside. Right. Look how oversold it is down here. Look at this. Way down at the bottom. Way oversold. Pushing up. Right. Starting to trying to make a push to the upside. You know, if this thing comes back up and retakes, you know, a penny, right? That would be huge. If it gets back above this high over here, that's what I'd like to see. You know, If it doesn't, and it makes another push to the downside, expect that 0.006, 0.007. But could that mark a bottom in this thing, and could this thing make a rally? Absolutely, sure it could. Everything could. Could it plummet and go to nothing? Yeah, yeah. We don't know, right? Um, a big sign here. This thing did take out this overhead resistance. It didn't hit it and just roll over. It did take it out. Now does it come back down here and retest it now? It looks like it could do that. That would not be uncommon. Let's get this off here. This one trend line here I want to remove because I want to show you. Let's get it off there. That would be very common for it to come down here and retest that. And would that fit in with this possible pull down? Yeah, it could, right? Comes down here, retests this now as support, and then bounces off of it and heads up. Yeah, that very well could happen. Let's look at some of the other RSIs. 12 hours about at the top. Look how oversold it is down here at the bottom, right? Way oversold. If we get that push down and get this over with, and retest this area now as support. But this thing is way oversold. 12 hours way oversold. 8 hours oversold. Your monthly, don't have monthly, but the weekly. Yeah, all of your RSIs are getting extremely oversold. Okay, you can see a 1, 2, 3, 4. If you use this wick, you got target about 0.005, 0.006. That's what I'd watch for, and see if this thing bounces. If it starts getting lower than that, I'd start really worrying. But looking for a bottom here on Myro, looking for some kind of bounce. I believe the crypto market, I think these altcoins are going to get a bounce. But I would watch for this thing, if it pushes down 0.005, 0.004, very possible, and then see if it bounces, see if you get a bounce. If you've held this long, then it's probably worth taking a shot of getting a bounce down here, or do you sell now and wait and see if it bounces and get back in once it gets up here? I guess you could do that. You're gonna have to, but I would expect more than likely a push down here, right? Especially if it takes out this 0.00514. If it takes out that, yeah, look for 0.00564. Look for that down here, okay? Very, very possible. And look for a bounce here. These RSIs are pretty oversold. I believe Bitcoin dominance is going to take a plummet here this weekly. That's the big one. Once it gets oversold, usually get pretty big moves then. All right, thank you so much, guys. Have a great day. Please hit that like and subscribe. I'll talk to you soon.